Came out the portal, immortal into a human body. I've been existing way before the earth had Anunnakis. Intergalactical battles, intergalactical travels, infinitely going through stars. The universe will unravel all of its secrets, peep it. I'm starting to leak it. Time for truth is coming. 100, it's time to seek it. Expanding my perception through the spectrum of light. I'm going in with spectrum and the shit's out of sight. We indigo children, yeah, we building frequencies through the ceiling. Penetrating through reality, a marvelous feeling. Regardless, we're healing these humans that be claiming we demonic. The resonance goes over their heads, we super cosmic. The logic is ignorance mixed with fear in your thinking. My pineal gland is flooded, son, that shit don't be blinking. Sinking into your subconscious like a song with no words. The way I come up with these symbols of letters is absurd. Hey yo, my rhymes are like angelic beings. The shit is freeing, so pure that if you were born blind, I'll have you seeing. Breathing in a multi-dimensional light so captivating. Double helix is nonsense, so what I'm activating, feel the power from within, seeping right through my skin, from the earth into my feet as it goes up to my chin. It got me grinning, rotation like spirals, my music spinning. I told you that I don't be playing, still I'm always winning. Fibonacci to the haters, curve them right to the side. They don't understand the energy, it comes from inside. So inside is what I master, used to be a disaster. Now I'm gladly elevating to a whole new chapter. Yeah, I'm giving birth to a whole new style. I incarnated through New York, yeah, I rep Long Island. Don't get it twisted though, I'm truly repping this earth. I came to free all these humans and show you all what you're worth. Immortal. Yeah, raising your frequencies one soul at a time. As I pass this mic to my boy Spectrum, yo Spectrum, light that up, kid.
They tried to tell me I'm mortal, I told them I was immortal. They asked me what makes me different, I asked them what makes you normal. I just followed my morals and I unfollowed the formal. Hopped on a track with crews, now we straight cruising through portals. I download the Metatron, I'm reversing it till I'm dead and gone. If you think I'm dope, then you said it wrong. Not trying to flex, but I'm hella strong. Mine did things you never seen. When I say mine, you know what I mean. I'm the most when I'm in my mode, and y'all average is like the mean. I really didn't mean to go intervene. I'm the middleman, chilling in between. You should do the math, we ain't keeping score. But I just hit a 3.14. I cook it up, make it look easy as pie. I'm moving in silence and seeing the sign. I am the G. If you remove me, all you gon' see is your sins. This is a big game of six. The simulation is breaking again. I'm taking control, creating my soul. And if the truth fits, I'm breaking it in. Breaking it. All I really know is that I'll never know. I've been here for forever, don't know when to go. I think that indicates that I'm an indigo. In that case, I'm in the go. Green light, my heart, chakra, booming. Solar, plexus, Lexus, zooming. You assuming that I'm human. I'm just being what you doing. I've been teaching teachers frequently. It's apparent I'm a parent when it comes to raising frequencies. The way I'm living life, I haven't rest in peace recently. Immortal with my technique, but my ego dying easily. Death is teasing me by leaving me with DMT. Now it seems to me that everything I see is seeing me. Life is just an infinite circle with a twist. I used to wanna be like them, now they do not exist.
Immortal.
Greetings, Ken. Greetings, great dawning, and Lakesh Alakim. Welcome to Aligning with the Evolving Cycles of Time. We are back. I am Ken 38, Akil Sharif, the white crystal mirror, and I dedicate in order to reflect universalizing order. I seal the matrix of endlessness with the crystal tongue of cooperation, and I am guided by the power of heart. Ashe and Asheo. And if you're here, you're probably here so that you can find out how to work this Mayan and Olmec cosmology, and you're gonna get a great teaching on that today. You know what I'm saying? As always, I'm gonna give you some basic information, some general information on some of the aspects of the cosmology. We have our fifth force oracle that's going to go into a little bit more detail. I'm going to say a lot more detail, really. And then High Priestess and Makaru she's going to take us deep. She's going to take us deep into this this archetype that we have for today. And the question that's being asked is, are you aware or at war? I just saw this as I put this slide up here, this dawning, and I'm like, whoa. HP's questions be so thought-provoking, so intriguing, right? Just make you like, what is she about to say? I definitely am looking forward to hearing that. I'm gonna brace myself though. I'm gonna hold on to something for real. But we are on the yellow magnetic seed, Kin 144. And of course, we do this every Friday, which is actually Silio right now. We're still on Silio, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. And in case you didn't know, we're actually in the year of the yellow resonant seed. And this is the prayer of the 7 galactic directions. I'm going to play the audio for this, and I'll be back as soon as it's done.
From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us, so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us, so we may see all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action, so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest, so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. from the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once. May everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum hunabku evam maya e maho. Ayum hunabku evam maya e maho. Ayum hunabku evam maya e maho.
Right. Gratitude to the prayer of the seven galactic directions. Very powerful, very, very powerful frequency. And we are mimic melanated immortals making evolutionary changes. And our mission, pay close attention, our mission to shift the global consciousness of the melanin dominant population and establish an everlasting legacy of high frequency beings, immortal health and immortal wealth through the application and remembrance of cosmic knowledge. 2 more times so we can lock it into the heart and mind. Our mission to shift the global consciousness of the melanin dominant population and establish an everlasting legacy of high frequency beings, immortal health and immortal wealth through the application and remembrance of cosmic knowledge. Our mission is to shift the global consciousness of the melanin dominant population and establish an everlasting legacy of high frequency beings, immortal health and immortal wealth through the application and remembrance of cosmic knowledge. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. And so we do the melanin frequency vigil, which is where we, for 52 weeks, 52 heptads, a frequency is being put out so that we can raise the consciousness of the melanin dominant population. And this happens every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And right now, and this is soon to change, but right now we're in the year of divine power. And the, let me see if I can raise this up so I can. The affirmation is, as cosmic legacy holders, we actualize divine power on earth. As cosmic legacy holders, we actualize divine power on earth. As cosmic legacy holders, we actualize divine power on earth. And if you haven't experienced this, it's really cool. This is where HP will break down, or she'll have a frequency that it has to do with something social, some kind of a social issue. And the way she explains it is through the lens of people that are using their divine power to bring solutions to these issues. You know, she gives you a way to understand and view it, understand it from a higher perspective, you know, so we can walk in that. And this frequency has been transmitted since the fall equinox of 2019. So check that out if you haven't. Well, even if you have, come again. You know what I mean? But if you want more information on it, you can go to melaninfrequency.org. Okay. And this is Kin 144, the yellow magnetic seed, and this is the first archetype of the wave spell. So this is the theme of our wave spell. You see it says yellow seed wave spell. And of course, this is based on a 260-day sacred cycle. This is our counselor today. This is our support for today. This is the energy that speaks to us through the language of light, that speaks to our intuition. The affirmation reads, I unify in order to target, attracting awareness. I seal the input of flowering with the magnetic tone of purpose, and I am guided by my own power doubled. You unify in order to target, attracting awareness. You seal the input of flowering with the magnetic tone of purpose, and you are guided by your own power double. We unify in order to target, attracting awareness. We seal the input of flowering with the magnetic tone of purpose, and we are guided by our own power double. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. And so this is what that wave spell looks like. So you can see that yellow, it is the yellow archetype, but the green outline is where we are at the very top. And all these archetype together, these 13 archetype, they do. So we get to experience this energy today, right? This yellow seed, we get to experience that. But when we finish this wave spell, it's like Voltron. They come together, and we get to keep that frequency. We get to keep this yellow seed frequency into the next stages of our development, right? So essentially, what I'm getting at is that when we go through this wave spell, when we go through each one of these 13 archetypes, we lock in the frequency of our ability to target our awareness and to produce some growth from it. So the first wave, the first kin is kin 144. That's the yellow magnetic sea where we are today. Kin 145 is the next one, and that's the red lunar serpent. Kin 146 is the next, and that's the white electric world bridger. Kin 147, that right below that one, and that's the blue self-existing hand. And then the next one is kin 148, and that's the yellow overtone star. And then we move over to kin 149, the red rhythmic moon. Then we have kin 150, the white resonant dog. And then kin 151, the blue galactic monkey. Kin 152, the yellow solar human. Kin 153, the red planetary skywalker. Kin 154, the white spectral wizard. And kin 155, the blue crystal eagle. And then we'll end this wave spell off with kin 156, the yellow cosmic warrior. And this is our Tzolk'in calendar, 260-day sacred cycle. And as you can see, okay, so this is where we have the 1320 frequency. We take these 20 archetypes and then 13 tones, we put them together, and we get a total of 260 archetypes, right? And these archetypes, they're tools for us to tap into this energy that's already inside of us. And it's really cool because we got 260 counselors, you know what I'm saying? 260 counselors, and they each have 4 archetype to counsel, to help counsel with them, So as far as, when we seek counsel, it's usually going to help us to solve a problem. It's going to help us to get more creative. I mean, solving problems is getting creative as well. But so essentially, when we're interacting with these kin, which could be just having a conversation with them, you might draw a picture and get some insights. Draw a picture of the kin and get some insights. Whatever you do, but seeking that counsel so that we can get more creative. We can use the right side of our brain. We can, essentially get the insights that we need to move further into our evolution. And so you can see the green boxes on there that looks, it looks like somebody standing with their legs spread and their arms out, or maybe that's some antennas and their arms is folded across you know what I'm saying? Their arms is, they sitting in like a bravado stance, stuff like that. But those are the galactic activation portals. And as you can see where that yellow highlight is, we're like two days, two plasmas away from going into our future portals, which is very, very powerful. Very, very powerful time for us to focus on that and to be intent on making changes. They definitely gonna happen. So this is our 260 spin right here, and from Kin 1 to Kin 260 is pure evolution. And this is the 13 moon calendar, and I like to reference the Gregorian calendar. You know what I'm saying? Before I go into this, just to note the differences. You know, like I say, the Gregorian calendar, you know, definitely, if in terms of nutrients, you know, you're not getting much from that calendar, seeing as that it's man-made, it's artificial time. You know, days are missing out of that calendar. 1582, 10 days snatched out of that calendar. This has an effect on the mind. The uneven months. The moon has 13 cycles. There's only 12 months. All this has a negative effect on your psyche. So the 13 moon calendar, this is connecting us to cosmic memory, you know. And right now we're in the magnetic bat moon. Okay. And every moon asks a question. This one asks, what is my purpose? Okay. This one asks, what is my purpose? Every moon has 4 heptads. Okay. And we say heptads is, you know, instead of week, you know, just listening to how these words sound can also have an effect on your psyche, you know, like days of the week. You know, we're not in the weekdays. So, you know, we have plasmas and heptads, right? Before I get into the heptads, I will talk about these plasmas though. You can see the 7 circles on the top. These are the radioplasmas, and you know, plasma is everywhere. Plasma is how consciousness travels, and so we tap into that with this calendar. And Dolly, we also tap into the crown chakra. Sally, we tap into the root chakra. Gamma, your third eye. Kali, your sacral chakra. Alpha, your throat chakra. Limi, your solar plexus, and Silio, your heart chakra. And all of these also tap into a specific area of your mind that you can open up to, you know, gain access to more of who you actually are. And so let me talk about these heptads. So, you know, I like to look at it this way. The first heptad is the red heptad, and it's where knowledge initiates view. So you might ask the question, what is my purpose? You know, and you get an insight, you know, and that insight, it allows you to see something you haven't seen so that you can move into a place you haven't been before, right? And you could also look at it from the perspective of tapping into the archetypes. You know, you tap into these archetypes, they're going to give you some insights. So this is knowledge that's going to initiate your view, you know, going to show you some things so you can move into some different places. And then we move to the white heptad, which is where we actually are on Silio. You can see that green outline right there. This is where humility refines meditation. So naturally, when we get knowledge and you know, we're resonating with it, it should humble us. It should give us the ability to see when we're moving with ego or when we're moving from a higher state of consciousness, right? You know, and then our meditation is refined and we get more knowledge from that. Then we move to the blue heptad, which is where patience transforms conduct. And I think it was HP that had this analogy about a car. I'm in the Houston area, and man, everybody just drives so fast. But what I've noticed is that when I chill out, when I'm like, I'm not going to be in a hurry, and I sit back and I'm driving chilled, and I can see more. I can see what's going on. I can see what's about to happen. I can see who's driving too fast, who's going to have to hit their brakes. I can see when I can get over and make a move. This is the concept, like when we having patience allows us to see more and make better decisions. So that can, the more we can see and the better decisions we make, the better our actions, the better our behavior. So we transform the conduct. And then we have the yellow heptad, which is where, all of that produces a result, a positive result. It's a completion where power ripens the fruit. And so I wanted to mention that last calendar we were looking at, the Zokin, this is where we actually tap into our signature. This is where this is the 260 days is synonymous with the time that it takes to incarnate, right? So I do want to add that this is where you're going, whichever one of these kin you're born on is your galactic signature, right? And that's your purpose. And here with this calendar, this is where you're going to have your solar return. You'll hear it say happy galactic return, happy solar return. You're going to have it in, and you can still see the Gregorian date on here because we still have appointments to make, and we still have things to do on that side. So this calendar just syncs all that up, but it gives us think about doing this this is a 13 moon cycle. If you do this for 13 moons, you tap into these kin, and you're reflecting on what has come in, and you're focused on your meditation and changing the behavior, and something is produced out of that. And we do this 13 times. That's major. That's major evolution right there. Okay, and this is the reading for kin number 4 out of the 20 archetype, the seed, also known as the innocent. And it reads, I am the innocent. My sign is the yellow seed. I enter your universe from the 4th gate of light. My number is 4. Clear, self-existing, intrinsic awareness is my nature. Transparent, radiant, I sow the seeds of omniscience from the earth. I am the flowering of intrinsic awareness. In pure consciousness, I bear the fruits of spirit. I am the unimagined blossoming of the new unsullied by desire, contrivance, or secret motivation. I am the holy fool. People mistake me for a simpleton, but I am merely the self-reflecting face of all their projections. If you wish and you are pure, you will share my secret. I will share my secret with you. To know me is to rise in the strength of spirit and to resist all that is unlike good. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. That's beautiful. Beautiful. All right. I'm going to cue these announcements up. Uh-oh. Let me see. At the stage. Let me see. Oh, there they go. Okay. All right. So I'll be back after these announcements. right, we are back. We are back. All right, so I get to bring up our fifth force oracle, who is not backstage, but we do have her lesson to share with you, and definitely have much respect for fifth force oracle. She's going to give us this fifth force oracle reading of evolution, and take some notes. Take some notes. It's going to be fresh. Give it just 1 second. It's buffering. I do have it loaded and it's ready to go. So bear with us for just 1 second. If it takes too long, we'll keep it pushing. But if you would just be patient for just a moment, and we'll see if we can get this thing rolling. Okay, it looks like that one is going to take a little more time to load. We'll get that queued up and going next heptad. We'll have that ready for you. But in the meantime, I get to bring up HP, and look, I'm already like, I gotta get myself prepared, because she said, are you aware or at war? Whew. Let me go. I'm gonna have to do something. I gotta get prepared for this. But this is gonna be good. So I'm excited. HP she always gives me something that helps with the shifts. You know what I mean? So I will yield the mic on that. And HP, if you're ready, I'm gonna bring you up.
The high priestess of mimic who pulled me in. The high priestess of mimic who pulled me in. It's time we come together to raise our consciousness. The high priestess of mimic who pulled me in. Amen. The high priestess of mimic who pulled me in. Amen. It's time we come together to raise our consciousness.
All right. Great dawning. Great dawning. Am I being heard? I think I am. All right, all right. So welcome everyone to Aligning with the Cycles. And shout out to Brother Sharif, who gave us a great and excellent breakdown of the cosmology that we use as a tool. And I love the way he puts things into perspective. As he was saying, how we're using the yellow seed this dawning to be our counselor. So we're going to see what council has to say, right? And also shout out to Moon Goddess Ambrosia, our fifth force oracle. I was looking forward to hearing that, but we will get our technical issues straightened out for the next time, and we will definitely hear from her. All right, and so thank all of you for being present, and let's get into it. All right. So yes, we are at the beginning of a wave spell, and for those of you who are new, a wave spell is a 13 unit cycle. That's basically what it is. It could be 13 seconds, 13 minutes, 13 so-called days, 13 years, right? Some of us, when you get deeper into the cosmology, going through your 52-year castle where you have 4 of these 13-year cycles is very, very interesting for you to really look at it, take a deep dive into it, and look and see what your patterns are, right? If you're interested in getting a little bit further into that, we do have a 13, we call it the 13 Tones of Creation. It's a replay of one of our live courses that we did a couple of years ago, but it's still very valid information. And you can go check our self-study portal and jump into that, and it will give you a lot of little details about how to go through these wave spells, right? Now, I'm excited because we're at the beginning of a wave spell, right? I'm always excited, but let me get more excited because we're at the beginning of a wave spell, and so it makes it easier to speak about the archetype. So we're on Kin 144, and this is the yellow magnetic seed. And if you listen to the recordings that I did a long time ago on the Wave Spell Word on YouTube, I say this wave spell is the tea drinking, lotus sitting wave spell, right? Because it's a cycle of completion, right? I like to, in my practice now, it's been 9 years, I guess, practicing with this cosmology, or using this cosmology as a tool. And through those years, what I've learned to do in using this as a tool is to really pay attention and go with the energy of what that particular archetype, that particular wave spell, the moon, the year, the solar cycle, all of those things, what it's doing, right? So red initiates, right? White refines, blue transforms, and yellow ripens. And so this is the beginning of a cycle of completion. Now, what cycle are we completing, right? Well, I'm glad you asked, right? All right, yeah, I'm already acting silly. Okay, it's just going to get even sillier and sillier, but that's okay. You guys are used to it. So over on the far right, right, and we heard Brother Akil talk about this. This is the Zokin, right? It's really it's a modern version of what you see to the far left, right, where you see those wheels. And every day someone turns that wheel and it's a different archetype, and a different tone. Even using the word archetype and the tone, those are modern translations. So, I'd like to say that to respect the origin of this information, right? So the flat version, though, gives us because our mind has been programmed two-dimensionally. Not, y'all know what I say about 3 dimensions. I think we've only been programmed for 2: up, down, left, right, side, side, back and forth. 2 options, not 3, right? That's a whole nother topic right there. Don't get me on that, right? I'll go off on another thing, but I'm gonna come back, right? Because y'all know how I do. I always bring it back, right? I'm gonna bring it back, but I might go over there. Okay, so this two-dimensional, this flat version, right, gives you, though, the insight that will take you into a multi-dimensional version, right? And so funny, I just saw Brother Patrick, Ken 236 in there, and I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, waiting for his what is it? Wyatt. I've seen it. I've seen you. I'll be watching, right? I love to see. I saw some of the stuff that he's come up with is fantastic, right? So anyway, so it made me think about that. All right. Okay, Patrick, get out of my head. Let me. I got stuff to do up here. Stop. Okay, so there you go. So this flat version, right? So here, this takes us through the 20 of 13 cycles, right? 13 units of 20. 1320 is 260, right? So we have 20 wave spells, and they each have 13 units in it, right? And so this is the Zocan model, which is the same thing as this, what you see here on the left. And so this 260, right, takes us through all of these wave spells. So what I did is I said, hey, well, let me just give my perspective on these, because I started using the wave spells in groups of 4. And let me give my perspective on what those groups of 4 take us through, right? Just based on the experiences I've been having, right? The first one is the new birth and a new being, right? That's when we started all over with Kin 1. The second one, right, is our prophecy. This is just like, the story. You got a John the Baptist, you got to, you become Jesus, you got to die, then you get resurrected, and then you have influence over the earth, right? And then and then we're in this cycle right here, cycle number 3. Since it's right in the middle, you don't really have to think much. It's obvious that this is a period. This is the middle. When you're in the middle, you are attuning. You're in a period of balance, right? So this is attuning and balancing out our life force, the force in which we live our lives, right? And I'm going to break that down a little bit further. And then this 4th cycle, right? This is what we're about to go into, is completing our evolutionary cycle. Right, we go through a whole cycle of completion, and then the 5th cycle is preparing for the new birth, right? So let's talk about this 3rd cycle, right, where we are attuning our life force. So now we started with the serpent wave spell, right? And it's interesting. This when we're in the center, it really is an auspicious, I'll use that word, an auspicious time and energy, right? Because I am, like, in this moment, I'm trying to conceptualize what I was thinking before we started the wave spell of the serpent, right? But before we started looking at life force, where was my consciousness then? And I'm having a hard time remembering. I'm having a hard time because this cycle really is a cycle of, like I said, it's a tuning many frequencies at once, and it's very powerful. Why? Because we have the past portals and the future portals in this one little cycle, and then the core, right? The core shouldn't be slept on. The core was off the charts, right? So we started with this serpent wave spell, and where we began to remember, right, after going through our prophecy, right, being resurrected, and then sealing that off with the flow of our wisdom, right, and allowing that to influence all of our endeavors. Then we moved into remembering how to use our life force, right? How to be super vital and attract the divine instincts. One of the things that when we talk about this, one of the things about having divine instinct, right, is there's some changes, some mental changes that we need to either make or remember, right? And why do I say it that way, right? We may need to remember our true selves, our natural selves, right? And what comes along with that is recognizing that we truly are a multidimensional being. Now, that might not mean anything, right? What does that mean when you say you're multidimensional? That's not something that you're walking around thinking about, practically, right? For the most part. Metaphysical, we have to remember that we are metaphysical when we are operating when we have a focus on the third dimension. When you have a focus on the third dimension, you're doing it from a physical form, right? It does not mean that form is not connected to source, to divinity, to your cosmic essence, your soul, your, etheric form, all above, known and unknown. And this, going through this cycle of remembering, you can't have a force of life if you don't truly remember who you are, right? Sometimes when we think about a life force, right? It's breathing, right? It's the energy that it requires to breathe. But your very essence, the very essence of the vessel in which you breathe, can't be really explained by science, right? Because when they start pulling apart, they look at it, okay, everything is an atom. And then they start going in between the atoms, and then in between the atoms, and they realize that the physical form, this is something I know everybody has heard before, right? That our physical form is made up of the same thing the stars are, right? And then where is this energy coming from? Right? Spirit can't be explained. Soul can't be explained. Etheric can't be explained. But it's there. So we're not just talking about, when we're talking about a force of life, what is that? So this is why this wave spell, that wave spell of life force, is all about remembering the truth about who you are being, right? One of the attributes of the red serpent is that they know the secrets, right? They're like a shashata in the Kemetic. They're secret keepers. And they know the secrets of life, right? Ever met one of them in person? Right? We have a really great example in Mama Tahita, right? Right? And so with this, we're talking about things metaphysically. We're not just talking about the animal part of us, the part that breathes and has has urges to eat, to drink, to go to the restroom. Those are just some basic things that come with being in this formation. But we, unlike animals, right, we can decide that we're going to be breatharians. They can't make that decision. We can decide that we're never going to eat again and breathe air. And I know someone, well, I don't know him personally, but one person over personally, that's a breatharian. He does not eat. He eats the sun. Right? There are people who decide that they're only going to drink liquids. And I'm not talking about on fast. Like they just decide everything is just going to be liquid. We get to decide that. Only a God can make that decision. We're making the same decision when we have, and here's the thing, is we can't have it one way and not the other, right? And what I mean by that, right, we can accept it when it's something like that and we become efficient in just breathing air and just breathing, or just drinking water or eating fruit or whatever, right? However, it's the same thing when when you create something in the body that's called a dis-ease. It's the same. It's really using the same energy. It's just that one is conscious and one is unconscious. And if you're able to do that, maybe a way of shifting out of it is to look at it as, whoa, wait a minute. Most of the time, the body is it's on a system. It's set up to repair everything. It's set up to heal everything. It's set up to move things in and out. So I have a thought form in here that caused it to do something else. This is how I wrote. This is how I wrote the book, What's in Your Womb and Unwounded. That was the baseline. I had that discovery, that insight. Now it was a dis-ease. Right? I had a miscarriage. Right? And I know, that's a dis-ease. I couldn't accept it. I couldn't accept it at that time. It's that thing where you say, I did everything right. I was a vegan. I was juicing. I was exercising every day. I was, in perfect shape and health and everything. And then I had a miscarriage. And I didn't have fibroids. I had no fibroids. No, I had no reproductive issues at all. And my first pregnancy was a miscarriage. I couldn't accept it. And so I took a deeper dive into what caused that. Like, what is it? Right? And so what started to happen is the insight started to come. Well, if you can make your body, your thoughts were so profound that it caused your body to do something other than what it naturally does, right? And the reason I couldn't accept, I know some people say, oh, well, that's just, things just happen. Look, crackheads have babies. healthy ones sometimes, right? A lot of times, actually, they just pop out a baby, right? People who, teenagers who only drink soda and, water is nasty. They have babies, naturally. So I couldn't accept it. But what I could, once the insight came, I said, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and I'm going to stop kicking rocks in the rain. And I'm going to realize that whatever thought I had was so effing powerful that I made my body create something outside of its natural order. And if I can do it that way, I can do it the other way. Right? So we have to accept the whole spectrum of us being that these are our divine instincts. We are just like we can make a decision and we just gonna breathe. We gonna eat sun. Right? That was a conscious one. An unconscious one is miscarriage. I made a decision, and if you go through the books, you know why. Okay. But I made a decision that I was going to block birth. So that was the beginning of practicing and understanding the force of life, right? That is given when we come into this formation. We have divine instinct, right? We are super vital. And what we say is what it is. What we think we create. Right? So then when we're able to do that, right? Then so this whole thing starts off with this life force, right? And ends up with us. I'm gonna get there, right? Stay with me, right? It ends up with us going into this awareness, right? So we started with the life force, and then we go into the white mirror, which allows us to do our reflection, right? Reflect the true order that we have created in our lives. And if it's something that we don't like, we can change it, right? Because we're looking in the mirror of endlessness. And if we did the serpent wave spell correctly, right? If we really remembered those instincts and we went through those portals and we come out, then this mirror is going to look like us. As I say, I like to call that wave spell the as below, so above, right? We want to make sure that our reflection is the same. Because there's no reason. Listen, it's funny. I just feel like there's a point where there's nothing left to say. Right? Everything else, any problem, any situation, any circumstance, everything is just, it's a mental obstruction. Because we truly are. If we peel everything away, we're unencumbered. We're free. We have no resistance, like it's no reason to have resistance. Resistance is mental. It's not spiritual, it's not natural. Let's go to the monkey wave spell, right? That's the one we just completed. And ended up transcending abundance, right? The monkey wave spell, when we went through the wave spell of the mirror and we looked below to see if it reflected the same thing above. And then we just made the adjustment. Like, come on. In our force of life. Hey, I got too much resistance in this area. Right? I need to make that adjustment. Right? I forgot about this part. That's okay. I need to make that adjustment. That's what we were doing in that mirror. When we get to the monkey wave spell, right? In the monkey wave spell, this is the wave spell magic, because the monkey is the master magician. And we're literally attracting illusions. Why can we attract illusions? Because we prepared for it. We're prepared for, because what did I say? It's nothing else to say. All of it is mental resistance based on probably trauma, karma, drama, problems, situations, circumstances. It's not natural. So in the monkey wave spell, we began to attract the illusions. We said, come on, bring them on. We're one and we're at play. Play. When you look at the etymology of the word play, it literally, it has a connection to like joyfully dancing with joy. Right? We become in oneness with that. And say, bring on the illusions. I'm going to play with them too. I'm going to make all of them look like me. I'm going to transform, because we're in transformation. I'm going to transform all of that to be like me, so that my force of life, so I don't have to keep wondering why. I know I'm God. I know I'm a divine being. I know I'm a cosmic entity. I know whatever it is. How come my life don't look like that? Because I haven't made it. I haven't transformed these illusions yet. Or maybe I just don't know how. That's all of that is fine. Right? But that is the wave spell where we play around with our magic. Right? We'll just play roll your boat gently down the stream, merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. That's how we end it. Making that real and transforming those things. Again, I said this before. One of the reasons, right, when people get mad about political issues and what's happening, and these people are doing this and whatever, right? The reason they have so much confidence, right, is because they understand what we were just talking about. That you can sit and make a decision. Now, I'm not talking about making I think you got to do something a little different if you decide you're going to make a decision about everybody else. There's some other stuff in there too. And there's a price to pay for it. Right? That's just my perspective. But let's just talk about your own dominion. And your own dominion is you. If everybody on here and anybody that's going to listen made a decision that they would no longer, that one, they're no longer going to be a victim or a villain. They're not susceptible to it. It's not allowed. Like something very simple like that. There would be no more racism. There would be no Karens, no Kens, and there would be nobody who could sit and make decisions for the whole world. If we all meant it when we say it. I'm not saying just, whatever. Yeah, that's right. I can't be a victim and nobody can do anything to me. Okay. You gotta say it with your throat. You know what I'm saying? You got to really think about it and really, really fill yourself up with that. Right? And think about all of the experiences you've had probably in your adult life, right? It's enough. It's enough. We look at each other adversarially. See, y'all thought I was going to forget about are we aware at war, right? Hey, y'all, you say you got to stay with me, right? I don't be forgetting. I know what I'm doing. I be laughing at myself because I be like, oh, wait a minute. Stop it. Okay, so most of what we have experienced in this world, as we know, is at war. And we've been at war, right, with the force of our life. This is my perspective. Right? So, and with the illusion, and with being a victim, and with being a villain, right? That has been the whole, so it's almost as soon as you come out, depending on what cultural group you come from, right? You are told that you're the victim. They said we talking to melanin dominant folks, right? Victim. And you go through the course of life until somebody also says, well, yeah, we went through an enslavement period, but, you know, keep your head up, do this, do that, or whatever, right? But still, everything in the world or in this collective consciousness, we're usually at conflict with, including ourselves and each other. How many people, let's say, here's something. Here's the thing about the conflict or being at war, right? Instead, like, you can't on your job, right? If you work a job, right? You're not able to just say, hey, listen, I just don't want to do this. I remember when I used to have to write reports and then they wanted it in a spreadsheet. And then anyway, my eyes started getting crossed. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do it. Right? So what happens when you didn't want to do it? Oh, shout out. Hey, Vicky Powers L, Blue Magnetic Monkey, Kim 131. Welcome. I'm just looking at the chat. So what happens when you don't want to do something, or you, let's say, here's a better one. Somebody likes you. It just, even if you're partnered up, that just remember somebody, back when you weren't partnered up, right? They like you and you don't like them, right? Just think about that. How do you handle that person? Or if somebody says, hey, do you and such and such, y'all together? Right? What's your response? I just want you to think about something, right? Go. Somebody put it in chat. What's your response? And I want you to give me the full energy of what you're going to say, right? Okay, so nobody want to say it. All right. Let me tell you what I say, right? Right, you say no, right? And you might say, and you might scrunch up your face and say, no, hell no, right? There you go, Patrick. Hell no. Now, think about that response. You had, in order for you to say no. She said no. Is that what he said? God, tell it no. We do not go together, right? So here's the thing. What did we just do? And all of us, because I got my hand up, because that's what I would say. Hell no. I would say hell no. I might say no, and scrunch my face up what I said. He just became a villain for liking me. See how that works? Why? Why automatic? Because you don't like them? If you don't like food, do you throw it across the room? Even though my son used to do that. Okay, my son used to do that. But outside of being a child, you might just send it back, or or let's say you're making the food, right? When you taste it, you say, "Oh, nah," and you might go and make it, put in some more salt, put in, some garlic, whatever, right? But in order for you to not like something, that means that here's those calculations that I'm always talking about. That means that person is a villain, and they didn't do nothing but like you. Now, they might be annoying. Listen, I'm not subtracting about, they just ain't your type. They're annoying. They might be an a-hole, whatever, and you just don't like them. But I'm not talking about those points. It's hell no. Right? I have I ain't gonna say that. So there may be people that are around you, right? That have that may like you, right? And you don't like them, or maybe you're the person that somebody doesn't like, right? Here's a great example, right? You've been in a relationship for a long period of time. The relationship starts going sour. And you think that your partner doesn't like you. How do you feel? You feel like a victim. Why doesn't he like me anymore? He doesn't find me attractive. He don't laugh, or she don't laugh at my jokes no more. You can't use the same things, to get the relationship, spruced up again, right? We've either been on one side of that or the other. When the relationship is over, everybody got their story about the other person, right? And when you tell the story, they are the villain. And when they tell the story, you are the villain. You see that? So in life, what starts to happen is because of the program. The program says victim, villain. That's why I say it's two-dimensional. Not three, not neutral. And so what happens is that puts that perspective. I see you, Vicky, she said your father pushes the food away. The food is it's a villain because it don't taste good. Right? So when we do that, our minds, right? We have been programmed, right, in this world or by this world to be at war, even with very simple things. Right? Something doesn't work. We're mad. This horn doesn't work. Why am I bringing all of this up? Right? Because we're about to talk about awareness. I'm bringing this up because the basic, if we're operating ourselves, going back to what I said in the beginning, if we are going back to operating in this third dimension with a multi-dimensional consciousness, with a source, we are a species of source. We are a species of the Most High. We are a species of the goddess, of God, of the creator, whatever word we need. That's our species. And when we create ourselves, we use an atom. And an atom doesn't have 2 dimensions. It has 3. And you know, I used to talk about this all the time. Right? Proton and neutron are in the nucleus and they hold the most weight. And depending on how many of them are there, then that's when they attract the electron. That is 3 dimensions. There is always an observer. That would be that neutron. But what's interesting about that, right? Just a reminder for you all, because I used to talk about this. The reminder is that the neutron is attached to the proton. What's the proton? That's the positive, so-called positive energy. And that's where the heaviest weight is. And if we are at a point of remembrance, is that our designation as a being in human form on earth, the purpose, again, we talk about this magnetic tone, holds more weight than the experiences that get attracted to it. And the observer is always attached to the purpose. And all of those points of reference are you. So if we're always observing ourselves at war, in conflict, this is why I brought up little things. This is how we move out of it. This is how we unravel. This is how we remember our natural force of life. When we go into this wave spell, or as we move through this wave spell of the yellow seed, where our awareness is targeted, is shielded to where we want our life force to blossom. Right? Because right after that, we're going into evolution. And that ain't the time to start figuring stuff out. So this is that last little point that I want us to really get in focus with. If we have any remnants of conflict consciousness, of war consciousness, just pay attention to yourself on a day-to-day basis. And just without judgment, without anything, don't change anything, right? Just look at how much conflict you have with anything. People, places, and things. Something that you don't like, you make it a villain. You have to, in order to just say, I don't want it. Right? You just don't want it, but it don't have to be, you don't have to be at war with it because you don't want it. Right? I don't like, something, whatever. My phone, this cover is green. It ain't the kind of green that I like, right? I need a new cover. What am I gonna do? Just I can't stand this cover. I can't, all of those things that we say. This is our basic conversation. The only reason I'm not saying this to get into us, I'm saying this so we can be aware and blossom someplace else, blossom in our natural formation, right? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Y'all got me? Y'all following me? Okay. I know I went around the world and yeah, right? Okay. But I found my baby. Okay. So here we go. So we are on the yellow magnetic seed where we unify in order to target, attracting awareness, not awareness, right? We seal the input of flowering with a magnetic tone of purpose, and we are guided by our own power doubled. Right. So let's break it down. So we unify, right? And this is why I say, that I always have a little thing that I say about each archetype. If you're Kin 144, my perspective is that you unite with the flow of life force, right? So we unify. We become one. Let's unify. Uni is one, right? We become one in order to target, right? When you target something, you focus on it. You say it's right there, and it's not just that one, it's that part of it, right? And when you look up the word targe, the etymology of the word target, it's a shield. So it's shielded. It's nothing else is coming in. Right? We are focused. We become one with our focus, and we attract the specific awareness. And the reason I said, okay, when you attract something, you draw near it, right? Awareness is about observing, right? So with our focus, and we draw near with our observation. So here's the thing, right? You can also take that word. That's what made me come up with the question: are we aware or at war? I like I heard Brother Keel talk about the being in traffic, right? And he gave an excellent example of this, right? When you are in traffic, and if you are in it and you just everything bothers you, right? You are at warness. You are a warness. Right? Because you out there, you like, hey, it's hard out in these streets, right? I gotta be aggressive. I gotta, whatever. But if you are in observation mode, if you draw near your being in an observer, you can see more. If you relax, you don't care who cut you off. You don't care who didn't put a signal on. And you're just looking at being on the expressway. It's almost like a virtual reality movie. You know how if you go in there and you put the 3D glasses on, and you're kind of in the movie, but you're also watching it, you have a different experience. So we want to make sure that our awareness is truly being drawn to the observation versus being at war. with even here's another way. Let's talk about resistance. Right? Being at war with what we are experiencing. And I know this one well, right? I just talked about it. You know, when I had miscarriage, I could not, you're not going to tell me. I have to accept this. But that experience happened. I done wrote 3 books about it, right? That was the seed to womb evolution. And if I hadn't gotten to a point where I could, where I wasn't at war with this, with the experience, I became the observer of it and said, ooh, look at here. So I know we may be going through things that we, you know what I'm saying? Like, please, I can't believe that I'm still experiencing this. I can't believe that this is happening. I can't believe this. That's a conflict, right? Here's another way to look, to ask that question. Again, I don't talk about giving up. I talk about surrendering and not resisting. Whatever the experience is, a better question is, I wonder what this is lining me up for. I wonder how this is fitting into purpose. I wonder how my awareness, okay, I see. You know what I'm saying? Because then you have more options than just to kick rocks in the rain or throw rocks at whomever, right? You either go be the victim or the villain, right? Or both. So when we attract this awareness, and let's say it's so-called problematic, don't go to war with it. You really have you are a species. You come from source. You are a walking and a living goddess, God, creator, most high on earth. Designated with a purpose, a mission. And with that purpose and that mission came everything, every person, place, or thing, every endeavor, every experience that you need to accomplish it. The problem, in quotes, is how we have been programmed to look at obstacles and to believe that the obstacles are greater than the purpose that created it or the being that created it. That any little thing, including people sitting behind desks, making decisions for the world, that is greater than everybody? Oh, come on, man. We don't even have to, it don't even have to be, somebody doing a march, or we don't got to do no march on Washington or on the, the so-called them deletes, right? None of that. Everybody just make a decision that's based on truth and can be backed up by the cosmos, by divinity, that you exist as you are and you have a mission and a purpose on this earth, and nothing can stop it. Nothing can deter it. Nothing can delay it. You've just been allowing it. And at this moment, you say no more. That's not war. That's awareness. That's observation. See, observation, it ain't got to be soft, right? If you want that thing to move, you got to move it. Not because you taking up a fight against somebody that's listen, I feel when it comes to this, right? If you're at war, that means you have a opponent. How about get to the point where you don't have no opponent? Because it ain't nothing it's nothing that can come up against you. You exist at source. What's going to come up against source? Nothing. Even if it's another being source. This is why you don't make decisions about other people. You just make them about yourself. If everyone decided that, we would have no more war on this planet. Because nobody could be a victim. You can't take a whole group of people and make them victims. You can't take a whole group of people and make them think a certain way about themselves. You wouldn't be able to take a group of people and point them in a certain direction and whatever. And there definitely couldn't be some people sitting behind desks making room. It won't even work. Who they gonna affect? Nobody. I don't care what the technology is. You can make a decision about the technology. No, I don't give up. I don't care if they got some technology coming in from the year 3053 that can shut down everything. Man, listen, all I know, I don't know what to tell you. It can't affect me. Everybody just say that. No, it don't even got to be about anybody else. I don't care if they got MFs coming in from other dimensions. It's not going to affect me. I don't care if they got subatomic particles that can go in and we breathe them in, and it's not going to stop me. If everybody does it, that is not war. It is awareness of who you truly are. It's awareness of your divinity, your divine power on earth. Right? You got to get in your feelings and say it with your throat. Right? Get into your heart space and move it. Right? We're going to talk about real quick how does the seed move things, right? So y'all thought I was going to say, it's just rainbows and unicorns and glitter, and that's all we have to do. Now, if that's how you move things, then that is all you have to do. Right? Right? Here we go. We seal the input of flower ring, right? We put in our natural flow. I just said it. Right? Yeah, go ahead. 240, get in your feelings. Right? How do we flow? How do you flow? What is true? If you just had a moment where you just got into your heart space without thought, no thought, just pure heart space, and let it rip. Woo, it's amazing what flows directly from the heart space. It can't lie. It's going to tell you the truth. Right? What's the truth about you? And who you are and your existence on this planet. If everybody that's how, everything else out there is in their true nature. Look at the ocean, look at the fish. A shark is a shark. A whale is a whale. They do whale shit. Right? Guppies do guppy shit. But they all exist in their true nature. What is your true nature? What is natural for you? Right? We still in the input of our natural flow with the magnetic tone of purpose, with our divine purpose here on earth, and we are guided by our own power double. They say run that thing back. Run that beat back, right? Right? This is where we're going to blossom. In having perfect awareness. You know, they talk about the seed. The seed is innocent, pure flow, right? Here we go. How does the yellow seed do it? Right? So let's take a look at it. So, what does the seed channel? The mirror. Remember we were talking about that mirror? The truth. It channels the true reflection and the reflection of the cosmos. So this is why it's saying, hey, you ain't got to be at war, but you do need to be aware. So you can take your cosmic reflection and flower it and blossom it in the direction of your force of life, the truth about you. This is why the seed is like, listen, all right, let's take it up a notch. I know I'm the lotus sitting, tree hugging, you know. This is that wave spell, but come on, high priestess, come on, let's take it up a little notch. Let's really get into it, right? How I really get down. The mental body of the seed is the wizard, right? Expresses and receives awareness from all time. What else is there about the wizard? The wizard stands beyond time. And so this seed is saying, listen, it doesn't matter what happened. It doesn't matter what consciousness you had. I'm saying be aware. Right? Not at war. Be aware of where you're putting your attention. Is it in the past? Right? Is it into what's been projected in the future for you? Or is it right now? And you can become receptive. You can have the receipt of the activities that are designated to you. Either you're going to be in traffic mad at everybody, or you're going to be an observer and it's going to be an adventure. And you're going to see how everybody's moving. It's up to you. But I highly recommend that you stand beyond time. You become the observer and then just watch things blossom where you directed them. Right? Because guess how I move? Through evolution. What we talk about with this the red earth is go time. What makes the seed move is evolution. Is the red earth. It says, all right, you ready? We gonna move everything over here, right? Now we gonna be at war. We gonna just be aware. We might even be aware that we've been at war, because that's our mind, right? Our mind is timelessness. It can go and look at everything, anything. Okay, that's what we gonna do, right? You show, because you know when I go, I start. I'm the navigator, right? So when we get ready to blossom, this is why the seed flowers. This is how it flowers. This is how it blossoms things. It completes cycles because it moves through evolution. And it's always precise. So we want to make sure our awareness is in the right place, right? And then in the physical realm, how does it come out? With the full vision, the eagle eye. It can't miss. You can't miss. It can look, see, looks beyond time. Can see anything. Timelessness. It's channeling the whole dang cosmos. And the truth about it. The way that it is able to shield or focus awareness is through being navigated by evolution. It can't miss. And then the way that it shows up in 3D is with a clear vision, a clear mental state. So this is why we said, are we aware or at war? Because that's where your mind is going to go. The ego can create whatever mental state it wants to be in. So as we enter into this frequency, we want to be very clear what we meditating on, what we sitting in lotus about. Maybe we just clear that we are the divine vessel of the Most High. That's us. That's each and everybody. And our path is always clear, free of obstructions, unencumbered, divinity on earth, full power, full authority over our own dimension. There would be no more war. We wouldn't even have to be up here talking. We'd be up here talking about something else. Right? So, are you aware or at war? That's the question, right? So, it definitely has been my honor and my pleasure. I love y'all. I would love to see you all at our upcoming event in September on the fall equinox. It's going to be in the Georgia mountains. If you're not on the email list, you definitely want to go to the website and sign up. So we're going to be putting out that information where we're going to meet in the person and be able to connect on some of this, right? We're going to put it in motion, right? It's just like we can show you better than we can tell you. So anyway, love y'all. I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Hotep.
Gratitude, HP. That was definitely sparking some awareness right there. Everybody go ahead and like this video, subscribe if you haven't done so. Check out the, let me see here. You can go check out the website and see what all events is going on. You can donate. You should do that so we can, help continue these sessions, get this knowledge. But I'd love for everyone to have an amazing heptad, amazing week with amazing heptad. And yep. Next Silio. Peace.
Immortal. Yeah. Came out the portal, immortal into a human body. I've been existing way before the earth had Anunnakis. Intergalactical battles, intergalactical travels, infinitely going through stars. The universe will unravel all of its secrets, peep it. I'm starting to leak it. Time for truth is coming 100, it's time to seek it. Expanding my perception through the spectrum of light. I'm going in with spectrum and the shit's out of sight. We indigo children, yeah, we building frequencies through the ceiling. Penetrating through reality, a marvelous feeling. Regardless, we're healing these humans that be claiming we demonic. The resonance goes over their heads, we super cosmic. Your logic is ignorance mixed with fear in your thinking. My pineal gland is flooding, son, that shit don't be blinking. Sinking into your subconscious like a song with no words. The way I come up with these symbols of letters is absurd. Hey yo, my rhymes are like angelic beings. The shit is freeing, so pure that if you were born blind, I'll have you seeing. Breathing in a multi-dimensional light so captivating. Double helix is nonsense, so what I'm activating. Feel the power from within, seeping right through my skin. From the earth into my feet as it goes up to my chin. It got me grinning, rotation like spirals, my music spinning. I told you that I don't be playing, still I'm always winning. Fibonacci to the haters, curve them right to the side. They don't understand the energy, it comes from inside. So inside is what I master, used to be a disaster. Now I'm gladly elevating to a whole new chapter. Yeah, I'm giving birth to a whole new style. I incarnated through New York, yeah, I rep Long Isle. Don't get it twisted though, I'm truly repping this earth. I came to free all these humans and show you all what you're worth. Immortal. Yeah, raising your frequencies one soul at a time. As I pass this mic to my boy Spectrum, yo Spectrum, light that up, kid.
They tried to tell me I'm mortal, I told them I was immortal. They asked me what makes me different, I asked them what makes you normal. I just followed my morals and I unfollowed the formal. Hopped on a track with crews, now we straight cruising through portals. I download the Metatron, I'm reversing it till I'm dead and gone. If you think I'm dope, then you said it wrong. Not trying to flex, but I'm hella strong. Mine did things you never seen. When I say mine, you know what I mean. I'm the most when I'm in my mode, and y'all average is like the mean. I really didn't mean to go intervene. I'm the middleman chilling in between. You should do the math, we ain't keeping score. But I just hit a 3.14. I cook it up, make it look easy as pie. I'm moving in silence and seeing the sign. I am the G. If you remove me, all you gon' see is your sins. This is a big game of six. The simulation is breaking again. I'm taking control, creating my soul. And if the truth fits, I'm breaking it in. Breaking it. All I really know is that I'll never know. I've been here for forever, don't know when to go. I think that indicates that I'm an indigo. In that case, I'm in the go. Green light, my heart, chakra booming. Solar plexus, Lexus zooming. You assuming that I'm human. I'm just being what you doing. I've been teaching teachers frequently. It's apparent I'm a parent when it comes to raising frequencies. The way I'm living life, I haven't rest in peace recently. Immortal with my technique, but my ego dying easily. Death is teasing me by leaving me with DMT. Now it seems to me that everything I see is seeing me. Life is just an infinite circle with a twist. I used to wanna be like them, now they do not exist.
Immortal.